The overflowing cup lesson. The story of the overflowing cup is one of the most timeless lessons in personal growth. Imagine sitting with a master, eagerly expecting wisdom, and instead being given a simple act of pouring tea. At first, it seems ordinary, but as the cup overflows, the meaning strikes deeper. It is not just tea spilling, it is a symbol of our own minds. Too often, we approach life with a cup that is already full. Full of our own opinions, full of what we think we know, full of pride, and sometimes even full of negativity. We hold on tightly to our past experiences, our rigid beliefs, and our fixed ways of thinking. In doing so, we leave no space for anything new to enter. Just like the cup cannot take in more tea, our minds cannot absorb new wisdom, fresh opportunities, or life-changing lessons. Think about it. How many times have we rejected advice because we thought we already knew better? How many times have we ignored opportunities because they didn't fit into the narrow picture of how we thought life should be? The overflowing cup is a reminder that growth requires space. And space comes only when we are willing to empty ourselves of arrogance, assumptions, and the illusion of already knowing. When you truly empty your mind, you become a student of life again. You approach every experience with curiosity. You listen to people not just to reply, but to understand. You learn from situations, even from failure, because your mind is open enough to receive the lesson hidden within them. The overflowing cup is not a warning about tea. It is a warning about life. If your mind stays too full, you will miss the wisdom waiting to enter. Letting go of ego and assumptions. Ego is one of the greatest obstacles to growth. It convinces us that we already have all the answers, that we are smarter, stronger, or wiser than others. Ego whispers, you don't need help. You don't need advice. You don't need to listen. And in that moment, ego locks the doors of the mind, preventing new wisdom from entering. Assumptions are just as dangerous. They blind us with false certainty. We assume we know how someone thinks, how a situation will unfold, or even what our own limits are. But assumptions trap us in a cage of our own making, keeping us from seeing the full truth. Letting go of ego and assumptions does not mean lowering your value or doubting yourself. It means choosing humility over arrogance. It means realizing that no matter how much you know, there's always more to learn. It means accepting that every person you meet, every challenge you face, carries a lesson that can shape you. Think about the greatest innovators, leaders, and achievers in history. They did not reach greatness by clinging to ego. They reached greatness by staying open. Open to new perspectives, open to being wrong, and open to growing beyond what they thought was possible. When you release ego, you open the door to learning. When you release assumptions, you open the door to discovery. Together, they create space for wisdom, creativity, and success to flow freely into your life. Releasing past failures. One of the heaviest weights we carry is the memory of our past failures. Mistakes we made, chances we missed, goals we fell short of. They linger in our minds like shadows, reminding us of where we stumbled. And the more we replay those failures, the more they drain our energy and confidence. But here's the truth. Failure is not meant to be a prison. It is meant to be a lesson. Every time you failed, life was teaching you something. Yet many of us hold on to failure not as a lesson, but as a label. We say, I failed once, so I must be a failure. That is not true. A failure is an event, not your identity. Think of it like carrying a backpack filled with heavy stones. Each stone represents a mistake or regret from the past. The farther you walk, the heavier it becomes, until eventually it slows you down completely. The only way forward is to stop, open the backpack, and let those stones go. In the same way, releasing past failures gives you the freedom to walk lighter, faster, and with more determination. History is filled with people who failed countless times before they succeeded. Thomas Edison, who made thousands of unsuccessful attempts before inventing the light bulb. Michael Jordan, who missed over 9,000 shots in his career, yet became one of the greatest players of all time. What set them apart was not the absence of failure, but their ability to let go of failure and keep moving forward. When you cling to past failures, you block yourself from future success. But when you release them, you create space in your mind for courage, hope, and new beginnings. Remember, the past cannot be changed, but the future is still unwritten. To shape it, you must first free yourself from the weight of yesterday. Creating space for growth. Growth is impossible without space. Just like a seed cannot grow in soil that is overcrowded with weeds, your mind cannot grow when it is crowded with fear, negativity, or unnecessary clutter. To grow, you must create room. Room for new ideas, new perspectives, and new possibilities. Think of your mind as a garden. If you never remove the weeds, the flowers will never bloom. In life, the weeds are our doubts, toxic habits, and limiting beliefs. They take up space, steal our energy, and block us from planting the seeds of success. By pulling out these weeds, by letting go of what no longer serves us, we create fertile ground where growth can take place. Creating space also means learning to pause. Many people fill their days with endless noise, distractions, and busyness. They confuse activity with progress. But growth doesn't happen in chaos. It happens in moments of stillness and clarity. When you empty your mind of distractions, you create the mental space to think deeply, to reflect, and to see opportunities that others overlook. Look at successful people. They protect their space. They say no to things that drain them. They cut off negativity. They guard their time so they can focus on learning, improving, and building. That's not selfish. It's necessary for growth. So ask yourself, what is taking up space in your life that no longer deserves to be there? Is it old habits? Is it negative voices? Is it fear of the unknown? The more you clear these out, the more room you make for wisdom, creativity, and transformation. Remember this. You cannot fill a crowded room with new treasures. First, you must make space. Only then can true growth begin. Clarity leads to wisdom. Clarity is power. When a mind is clouded with confusion, fear, and endless thoughts, we struggle to make decisions, we doubt ourselves, and we hesitate to move forward. But when the mind is clear, when distractions are removed and focus is sharpened, wisdom begins to reveal itself. Think of muddy water. When you stir it, it looks chaotic and impossible to see through. But if you let it settle, the dirt sinks and the water becomes clear. In the same way, our minds often feel muddy because of stress, overthinking, and worry. But when we learn to empty our minds, to pause, to breathe, and to let thoughts settle, clarity appears, and with clarity comes wisdom. Clarity allows you to separate noise from truth. It helps you recognize what truly matters and what is simply distraction. Many people chase too many things at once, and as a result, they go nowhere. But when you are clear, your path becomes visible. You begin to see the next step, and then the one after that. Progress flows naturally from clarity. Wisdom is not about knowing everything. It's about seeing clearly enough to make the right choices at the right time. And those choices often come when the mind is quiet, focused, and open. History shows us this truth. The greatest leaders, thinkers, and creators all sought clarity. They valued silence, reflection, and focus because they understood that wisdom is not found in noise, but in stillness. So ask yourself, what clouds your clarity? Is it fear of failure? Is it too many voices pulling you in different directions? When you clear away those clouds, you will not only think better, you will live better. Because clarity is not just vision. It is the foundation of wisdom, and wisdom is the compass that guides you to success. Learning over knowing, one of the greatest mistakes people make is believing that success belongs to those who know it all. But the truth is, success belongs to those who are always willing to learn it all. Knowledge is important, but the moment you believe you already know enough, you close the door to growth. Life is constantly changing. The world is always evolving. And what you knew yesterday may not be enough for tomorrow. The real champions of life are not those who cling to their past knowledge, but those who embrace the mindset of a lifelong student. Think of a glass of water. The moment it becomes still and untouched, it grows stale. But when water flows, it stays fresh and full of life. In the same way, your mind must keep flowing with new learning, new ideas, and new perspectives. A knowing mind becomes stagnant. A learning mind stays alive. Every master was once a student, and the best masters remain students forever. They are humble enough to say, "I don't know everything, but I'm willing to learn." That humility is what fuels growth, creativity, and innovation. On the other hand, those who cling to knowing often fall behind. They stop listening, stop adapting, and eventually, the world moves forward without them. Pride says, "I already know." Growth says, "Teach me more." Learning over knowing is not about doubting yourself. It's about strengthening yourself. It's about recognizing that every person you meet can teach you something. Every challenge you face has a hidden lesson. Every day of your life is a classroom, if only you're willing to learn. Remember this: it is not the one who knows the most who succeeds, but the one who learns the fastest. Keep your mind open, stay curious, and remain a student of life, because learning is the path that leads you to greatness. Transformation through emptiness. Emptiness is often seen as a weakness, but in truth, it is the starting point of transformation. When you empty your mind of fear, doubt, ego, and negativity, you create the space to rebuild yourself into someone stronger, wiser, and more focused. Think of a sculptor standing before a block of stone. At first, it looks plain, heavy, and ordinary. But by chipping away the excess, by removing what does not belong, the true masterpiece is revealed. In the same way, transformation begins not by adding more to your life, but by removing what is unnecessary. Only when you let go can your true self begin to take shape. Emptiness is not about having nothing. It is about making room for everything that truly matters. It is about clearing out the noise so you can hear your inner voice. It is about letting go of the old so you can step into the new. Every great transformation in history began with a moment of emptiness. A leader who lost everything but rose again stronger. An inventor whose failures cleared the way for breakthroughs. An ordinary person who, after letting go of their fears, discovered extraordinary courage. When you empty your mind, you stop being trapped by who you were and start becoming who you can be. You create the freedom to change direction, to redefine yourself, and to pursue your highest potential. Emptiness is the canvas. Transformation is the painting. And your life is the masterpiece waiting to be created. Every challenge you face has a hidden lesson. Every day of your life is a classroom, if only you're willing to learn. Remember this: it is not the one who knows the most who succeeds, but the one who learns the fastest. Keep your mind open, stay curious, and remain a student of life, because learning is the path that leads you to greatness. Remember, life is not about how much you can carry in your mind, but about how much space you create for growth, wisdom, and transformation. The overflowing cup teaches us that until we empty ourselves of ego, fear, and the weight of the past, we cannot be filled with the power of new opportunities. Empty your mind of what limits you and fill it with what empowers you. Empty your mind of doubt and fill it with courage. Empty your mind of excuses and fill it with action. Because the person who learns to let go is the one who learns to rise. And the one who empties the cup is the one who makes room for greatness.